if you are a true pro-Palestinian, then you should condemn Hamas. You should demonstrate against Hamas. You should want better education for children in Gaza. You should want to remove all the ideology and all the brutal ideology. You should actually defend yourself by saying that you do not stand by what happened to the women. And I cannot unsee the body of Shani Luke on the lorry. You will say that you don't want to see this happening to anyone. If you are really for Palestinians, and if you are European, if you are Belgian, you will also respect Europe. You will also respect Belgium. You will respect your country. You will not want taxpayers' money to go and help funding terrorism. You will want to know, as a politician, what the truth is. You will ask the critical questions and want to see the evidence. But instead, if you put ideology above political action, why are we then in a parliament? Why are we in a government? So this lack of action and taking freedom for granted is what is actually threatening us. It's also a lack of compassion for what is going on in the Jewish community. When I met a lot of so many Jewish children recently, I usually, one big part of what I am committed to doing as a politician is to speak to people, to listen to people. And I listened to so many children. I was in New York and I went to a Jewish school to speak. And after that, children came and spoke with me. I was telling you one of these examples when we met. And one young girl of 9 years old asked me this question: what should I do as I'm Jewish and certain people hate me so much? And I look at that young child, and you can see that she's so young because some of the teeth are still like, you can just, what can you say to this child? What she's saying is true. And children, they say it, but you know that it's not only children who ask themselves this question: what should I do? So what I see is that people ask for justice, ask for respect, ask for the removal of the hatred. And then I hear in every debate that these are the bad people. What do they need to be protected against those who are saying that they are bad? And before I entered this Jewish school in New York, I had to show an ID card. I was a guest. I had to go through, I saw security guards. But when we go and pick our kids here, and in other schools, we don't see any security guards. It is in front of the Jewish school. Do we want a community where synagogues and schools need to be protected? Or do we want a community where it's not necessary and everyone can be everyone else's guest? Our contribution is to help make this kind of protection unnecessary, but for the time being, it is necessary. So our responsibility is to say the truth about what is going on. We have an issue of political silence about key issues like the violation of women's rights, anti-Semitism, and we have political silence about radical Islam. And this political silence is something that we need to continue breaking. It's not enough. We cannot just speak 5 times, 10 times, and then stop. We need to continue until we don't need to protect any single school anymore. We need to continue until people who were born as Muslims like myself and who have a free voice are not threatened. I receive all kinds of threats. Some people explain to me how they're going to cut my head off. All kinds of threats. And they write it publicly because they know that you can say that. They know that you can say that. And if you target them with your ideas, not with anything, with your ideas, they call you an Islamophobic and they call you someone who is spreading hatred. But this is not okay. We need to continue fighting for that. We need to continue making sure that this conversation is not necessary anymore because justice is there. How can we be in a world where we need to convince people that what we saw on October 7th is a threat not only to the Jewish community, not only to Israel, but to the West and to the world? So it is for the sake of global peace that we must stop UNRWA and everything that is fueling Hamas and continue speaking about this issue. I will always be an ally for freedom and against the bad, aggressive vision of those who don't want us to speak, against radical Islam. I wrote in my book that I published recently that we need to accept that what happened and what is happening in Europe, the teachers were killed, in France as well. It has something to do with Islam. This sentence has nothing to do with Islam. No, I know the Quran, I know that. It has something to do with Islam that is not adapted to 2024. That is to the period of Muhammad. You need to remove that aspect of things and reform this religion. Everyone needs to put constitution and our laws above above religious values. Even something that is not religious, if you read what our grandparents were doing at the time of Muhammad, even if it's not religious, I don't think you can do such things today. No? We just do normal things today. We are in 2024, we have to respect each other and human rights. And everyone who says anything against the idea of justice should have the decency to start saying, bring the hostages home. We saw that the women were brutally treated and raped, and we saw everything. They were spat on, and there was shouts of Allah Akbar. We need justice for this. Reform the UN and all its bodies. It's our money. And the voter needs to tell politicians we need also to have respect. We don't want to be paying for terrorism. So all this we need to continue saying, and I will continue saying it regardless of the amount of threats, because to be honest with you, I am much more scared to live in a world where these people who are behind this kind of violence have more power than we do to change things. That's what I want to contribute.